In the Dayak kingdom, a spy notifies the king about the death of Camel Toe and his soldiers. After reading the letter, king got to know it was the heroes who were behind this. He starts to wonder why someone who was meant to save humans is hurting them. The spy raises the possibility that Camel Toe did something foolish that angered the heroes, but despite that, killing Dayak's people is a sin, and he insists the king take revenge. Even if they are heroes, the king agrees and orders the spy to find and research possible ways by which the heroes can be killed. On the other side, Yatsuya prepares two other options just in case the prisoners are not the goods. Yatsuya transfers some boxes onto the wagon. We don't know yet what's inside the boxes, but Yuka is not very confident about it. She raises her suspicion about it. However, Yatsuya believes there is a possibility of them being the goods. Yuka is not comfortable riding the wagon, so she requests Yatsuya to switch places. Yatsuya agrees, but Kahabal gives a sudden reaction upon hearing it. Yuka is confused to witness it, but as they continue the journey, she realizes the Kabul might be into Yatsuya and wanted to ride alongside him. After traveling for hours, they decide to rest for a bit. Kahabal, while blushing, approaches Yatsuya intending to say something but was not able to say it because there were people around. Yuka is bursting with excitement to realize that Kabul was about to confess her love. As they resume their journey, Yuka is swaying around in excitement. Her inner weeb is exploding to witness a real-life romantic story. Yatsuya and the little kid notice Yuka and wonder if she is okay. They rest for a bit, and after Kahabal catches a huge beast, Yatsuya cooks a delicious lunch with his chef's skill. On the other side, Shindo's group finds a merchant. They ask him about the possibility for him to deliver any goods to Raid on Orbo, but they are disappointed to get rejected again. After hours of searching, they finally meet a merchant who is carrying goods to Raid Orbo. At night, Kahabal approaches Yatsuya. She sits next to him and shows her appreciation. She is deeply grateful to him for helping her in avenging her knight's death. After saying that she goes to sleep, Yuka is disappointed to know this was all Kabul wanted to say. The next day, Yatsuya and his group finally reach Raid on Orbo. As per his plan, they first get the prisoners to safety. However, the quest is still pending. After it, they try to sell camel toes in his soldiers' accessories. However, the quest is still ongoing. At last, they deliver 3 boxes to the knights. After it, their quest is completed. Inside the boxes, it is camel toes in a soldier's heads. After warning about the malicious plan of the Dayaks king, the knights willingly accepted the heads and showed their gratitude for alerting them. Shindo, on her way, is notified about the quest completion, and later they reunite with Yatsuya's group. Apart from this quest, there is one more quest in which they have to explore 5% of raided Orbo. Since they have already completed 4.83, they decide to split up and explore the rest. Everyone except Tsuya has already left to explore. He is in front of the setting sun. Kabel approaches him. She informs him about her and Kusu's departure. She seems a bit sad, but expresses her gratitude for letting her help the heroes in the mission. Both of them shake hands, and Yatsuya, after bidding goodbye, leaves to complete the quest. The next day, the heroes are still exploring. Around 15 hours are remaining for the quest to be over, and they have completed 4.96 of the map. Yatsuya is optimistic and believes they will complete it before the time limit. However, by the time it's evening, it's starting to snow very heavily. Kahabal and Kusu were planning to leave, however their departure is postponed. Looking at the weather, she is worried about the heroes using his other characters' outfits. Yatsuya wears them on top of each other, but despite it, he is finding it difficult to move. He fears that if he dies because of freezing, he will die and will not revive, because when the troll ate Shindo, she didn't revive either, and just like then, if dies or freezing, his body's temperature will remain low and would not be able to revive again. To prevent that, he starts raising his legs as he continues to go ahead. It is the same with the rest. They are barely able to hold this cruel weather, but soon Hakazaki reaches her limit and collapses. She tries to move further, but couldn't and goes unconscious. On the other side, Shindo realizes that after all this time she was only going in circles. She is devastated and gets on her knees. Yatsuya checks the map and finds that they haven't progressed much. He concludes that the rest of them died of freezing, and now he is the only one remaining. Even though only 10 miles are remaining, he still finds it challenging to complete because of the weather, and because there are only 6 hours left, he can't even go to a nearby cottage and wait for the weather to go back to normal. He suddenly senses something and sees a yeti-like monster next to him. The monster starts attacking. Yetsuya takes the hit, but he recovers and deals some damage with his knife. He scans the body to find a potential soft weak spot, and after it he manages to defeat it. 3 babies come out and start crying to witness their mother's death. Yetsuya feels bad for them but knows this is just a game and there is no point in getting emotional. With 5 hours remaining he continues walking, however he suddenly falls into a hole. As he is falling he is in a panic because they all will die for real if he also dies, and after falling from such a height Yetsuya dies. However he soon revives. He is surprised because he thought everyone was dead. He opens the panel and notices Yuka is still alive. After all this time she created a small igloo and hid herself under it, as a result prevented herself from freezing. Yetsuya looks around and notices a dungeon with strange language written all over the walls. He goes ahead and notices skeletons lying around. He is suspicious to go any further, but since Hera's body is maintaining the temperature he can complete the quest. But before he proceeds further he is notified of Hakazaki dying. Shindo is still alive and continues going ahead. Soon after she finds a village. She starts running toward it, but unknowingly she was all this time running on a frozen lake. The ice cracks and she dies too. Yetsuya finds it challenging to complete the remaining distance, but still goes ahead. In front of him the path is blocked, so he turns back to find another route, but no matter which route he picks they all are blocked. Suddenly the ground starts to shake and an earthworm-like monster emerges. Yetsuya is terrified but was relaxed after knowing these monsters only eat dirt, and by following him he is also exploring the dungeon. But then another earthworm-like monster comes from behind. However, unlike the previous one, he eats Yatsuya. Yuka is notified of Yatsuya's death. She is devastated to realize she is the only one remaining. She gathers her courage and continues to go ahead. As she was about to collapse, a voice comes and tells her to not give up. In front of her there is Fatina, a magic user on a big cat. She recognizes Yuka as a player and helps her in completing the quest. Yuka checks the time remaining and is devastated to see it is only 3 minutes remaining. She is panicking and fears they will not make it in time. Fatina understands her worrying. With the help of Wind Spirit she boosts her speed. Yuka is surprised as well as curious. She asks Fatina if she is also a player. Fatina with a smile replies that she is just a magic user. With a few seconds remaining Yuka closes her eyes in fear. After the time goes to 0 they all are alive. The game master appears and congratulates them for the quest completion. Just like every time he asks the latest member to ask any question. Yuka starts thinking and is very curious to know about the mysterious magic user, but after thinking for some time she asks if this world is only a virtual reality. The game master reveals that this is a parallel world. This is a result of the individual's decisions. Just like this there are infinite Earth exits with different names, with different laws of physics. He added that everything except them is a real living thing. Yatsuya is devastated to know the reality. He is starting to tremble to realize he killed real people. Shindo and Hakazaki are surprised to witness his reaction. They ask Yuka if she knows anything. Yuka reveals how when they saved the prisoners Yatsuya killed a soldier. During it, not realizing they were real, he burned him without any hesitation. Back in the real world Yatsuya is still tormented to realize the reality of the other world. He almost feels like puking to know what he has done. Even at school he hardly participates in classes and just barely holds himself together. Shindo and Hakazoki see him but couldn't gather the courage to talk. They believe it will be better if they just let him on his own for some time. After school, on his way home, Yatsuya gets a message from the game master. He doesn't want to continue playing the game, but because he cannot forfeit it, he is forced to complete the game. He opens the message in it. The game master asks about his honest feeling after he killed someone. Yatsuya is in shock to read it. He deletes the message immediately and heads to his home. He is irritated and confused to comprehend why would game master send something like this. He wonders if killing a person was also in his game plan or if he just made the wrong decision. Suddenly a little girl holding a bug net appears in front of him. Yatsuya is freaking out to know she is the game master. She has come here to ask the reason he didn't answer the message. Yatsuya explains that he made a terrible mistake. He could have solved a different way if he had known the reality. The game master accepts the reason and tells him about the fifth party member. They go to a Chinese restaurant. There she explains that the person sitting afar used to deal with drugs, but during his time he messed with some gangsters and now his life is in danger. In 20 seconds Tori, the fifth member, along with his young brother, will come here to kill him. The gangsters who gave the order tricked them into believing he will not be caught by the police, and Yatsuya's objective is to prevent the killing and make sure Tori and his brother are not arrested. After 20 seconds Tori, covering his face, arrives with two other people. He is holding bats and immediately charges at the ex-drug dealer, but before he kills him, Yatsuya stops him. Kori is furious and with others starts attacking Yatsuya. However, because of Yatsuya's training in the other world, he is now better in combat and defeats all three of them. Yatsuya tries to convince Tori to not go this route or he will ruin his and his brother's life forever. The restaurant owner is panicking to witness the situation. He quickly alerts a gangster about a middle school student ruining the plan. The gangster with a gun enters the restaurant. He is furious to witness his plan ruined by a kid. He points the gun at Yatsuya and demands the gang he works for. Yatsuya is freaking out to witness the gun. He explains that he is not involved with any gang, but the gangster believes he is lying and is about to shoot. Just then the game master appears. She offers Yatsuya the creature's glove. Yatsuya takes it, and before the gangster shoots he uses his skill to make him stop and lands a strong punch. The police are on the way listening to the siren. Yatsuya, before leaving, tells Tori to leave with his brother as soon as possible. Tori is confused and wonders who Yatsuya was. The gangster gains consciousness and tries to shoot at Yatsuya, but Tori notices it and kicks away the gun. The gangster is furious because for all these years he was the one who took care of him and his brother, but Tori now understood that he was being used. He steps on his face and leaves with his younger brother. Consider liking and subscribing this channel if you enjoyed the recap. Have a wonderful day ahead.